nervous for the Rams, but you got to be a little enthusiastic after being there.
Bro, that game atmosphere was ridiculous. The energy, the electricity. That place was rocking. Anyone was there, and a lot of the Super Bucs fans were there too. The Bucs.
Tampa Tones. We are joined by lead goon tonight, host of the Pat and Aaron Show of WDAE, Pat Donovan. And it sounds like Stunna is bumbling a little bit. Going to put him on mute for a second until that gets a little cleared. But we're joined by Pat
It looks
Donovan.
like Stunna's hanging out with Cheech and Chong in a car with the windows up or something over there.
It does look like you got a little...
No, my camera's broke.
Howdy ho, howdy hey, how the hell is everybody? It's Saturday, as Elton John says. It is fucking Saturday, ladies and gentlemen. We made it. Countdown to kickoff our Saturday Showdown football show, brought to you by J-Lo and the great J-Lo Associates over at J and J-Lo. Just kidding, my man. It's always great to see the great J-Lo in the damn house, and I see he's changing up who he's rooting for today as well, potentially. We got Michael Plus of Real Bucks Talk in the chat saying need Raiders -6, Cowboys, Chiefs, and Bills to win this week. Bucks win by double digits. So there we go. I think Plus might have a little plus parlay on the line out there. We'll talk about gambling and so much more here coming up on our Saturday Showdown weekend to kick off a football show. Got so much on the plate today. Speaking of on the plate, Mr. J-Lo, I know you were barbecuing really good stuff last week. Will that tradition continue tomorrow? Happy game day, brother. Well, almost game day, I should say. Cheers to you.
Yes, man. Happy game day. Yeah, I plan on grilling again tomorrow. Can't decide what I want to do. Yeah, I'm still kind of like, I'm thinking maybe ribs, but we'll see. In the meantime, I'm excited for some college football. Yeah, switch it up, Gotta root for the Bulls, man. They got a big game tonight against Miami at home. It's for bragging rights for the state of Florida. So, if my Gators can't do it, then go Bulls, man. That's my second team, so let's do it.
It's you against Stunna then, because he's a Miami fan. So we'll see how Stunna's feeling after. Yeah, exactly. We got our Nebraska native in the house, and J-Lo, we'll talk about it before we dive into Bucs Broncos here in a little bit, as we do talk all things football. So if you are watching, throw something in the chat. Even if we're talking Bucks or whatever the hell we're talking, we'll get to your comments, because our listeners, our people, are first come, first serve. That's who we want to talk with. That's who we want to chat it up with. And Mike from Nebraska, he's saying greetings from Nebraska. So J-Lo, I think it's appropriate, me being stationed in Illinois. Mike Puckhead, our right-hand guy. Thanks for joining us, by the way. Puckhead being in Nebraska. I think we got to start with the elephant in the room, J-Lo. Illini, Nebraska. Last night, battle of two top 24 ranked teams. That was a really good game, ended in overtime, and U of I got a huge win on the road in Nebraska, J-Lo.
Yes, they did. It was a hard-fought game on the road, win for Illinois. I like the competitiveness for both teams. It's always good to see, especially on a Friday, kind of like an appetizer for this weekend to come. But I did catch some of that game. I think Matt Rule and also Brett Bielema, they got, really good things, bright futures for both the universities. So, I'm all for it, man.
And former Bucs safety and Pro Bowl alternate Torrey Cox, he was a special teamer as well. His son now plays safety for University of Illinois. He used to play at Ohio. And Torrey Cox Jr. had a one-handed interception in the end zone last night to save a huge touchdown for U of I. So always good to see the Bucs youth ball out. Well, I should say former Bucs, new generations to come ball out. You got a lot in the world of college right now. Both the Brad Johnson sons are in college, and a lot more star power circling the league. So, J-Lo, I'm a fan of the Friday football appetizer, though. Like you mentioned, it's a perfect little appetizer. As Christopher Cole says, morning, everyone. Morning, Chris. Go Bucs, fire the damn cannons. But real quick, all three games last night were excellent, J-Lo. You had Stanford, 7.5-point underdogs take down I'm drawing a blank here. Oh, Syracuse, its time expired on a game-winning field goal kick. That was incredible. And then you had the overtime U of I Nebraska game. And then you had a late night cap, Washington State, San Jose State. That thing went to triple overtime, 54-52. So, J-Lo, one game after another yesterday, you had a game-winning field goal. The next game said, we'll outdo you. We'll go to overtime. Then the nightcap said, we have 2-3-0 teams here. Since we're both 3-0, let's make it triple overtime. But I'm a huge Friday Night Lights guy.
Oh yeah, I mean, anytime there's football on, whether it's Friday, Thursday night, it's a good way to start the weekend. Especially though how close those games were. It brings more entertainment for the fans of the game. I'm sorry for the teams that lost in those close ones. But at the same time, you gotta be happy with the production, the competitiveness they brought to the game. And the season's not over. It's only one loss for Nebraska. I think they got good. I think
That
they got.
QB's a stud, Rayola. He'll be good.
Oh, he's really good for a freshman. I said Heisman hopeful I say by next year. That's how good I think he can really be over there. And I always root for those guys. Those guys at those not so popular colleges like Nebraska because they've been on the down for a long time. And then you see Rayola come in and just playing at a high level for a freshman. That tells you that kid's gonna be something special.
Yeah, we got our own Killa Huncho, our co-host in the chat. He'll be back soon, people. Don't worry. He's saying go Bulls. So he approves of J-Lo's shirt, plus said go Bulls as well. Our guy Puckhead, Urlacher's son, is at Notre Dame. That's another good one right there. That's incredible. I feel like Urlacher was just in the NFL. And even at Colorado, you got all the Sanders kids. There's like 30 of them on the roster. So that's pretty damn cool over there. And you got Warren Sapp coaching and forgetting his guys' names. He's saying the big lineman, the little lineman, and everything in between. It's just fun. Plus said great games. They sure were, Dr. Plus. And yeah, J-Lo, I don't know if you know, but last year, as we are joined by the Godfather on Facebook, tuned into the house live on the Buccaneers. We appreciate the Godfather as always. But real quick before we get to some NFL Bucks talk and so much more, J-Lo, last year, I was watching a college football game on a Friday night. Colorado was at Stanford. Colorado was heavy favorites. I want to say they were laying a couple touchdowns in the game. And next thing you know, Stanford upset them. And why did they upset them? A young wide receiver by the name of Alec Aomaner tore them up. He literally took Colorado's defense, put it in a blender, put it in a paper shredder, and it was just incredible to watch. And ever since then, I fell in love with Alec Aomaner. His game, his route running, his catching and traffic ability. This guy's not afraid to go up and get the football. Last night, I've seen that we're playing on Friday. I threw money on him scoring a touchdown. That son of a... He scored before 7 minutes hit the clock in the first quarter. This kid's incredible, J-Lo. And the way he brought in his touchdown catch, one-handed grab over the defender. I think Bucs might have to keep their eye on this kid, as does the rest of the NFL. But Plus is right. I fell in love with this tyke last year. Alec Aomaner, to me, J-Lo, he's a top 2-round pick. I think he doesn't make it off the board. But if you're not familiar with them, J-Lo, I definitely recommend watching some Stanford games for this kid alone.
No, I'll definitely have to check that one out. I'm not too familiar with Stanford's program. They're just like Nebraska. They were on the down for a while. So, I have to look back into that now. That's good stuff, man. I always like, watching these kids that no one really talks about until they actually show up in the game time. So I'll be catching that guy real soon.
Yeah, also, I want to give a shout out to my buddy's dad this morning. I was at my buddy Tim Crowley's wedding last week, and we had a hell of a time. And his dad's a man. Met him at the bachelor party UFC fight. Jim Crowley, great guy, good guy. Got to meet this guy. I get a wake up call this morning, 7:30. I'm like looking around. I'm like, what the hell? Who the hell's calling me 7:30 on a Saturday? I see it's my buddy's dad, Jim Crowley. I'm like, is something wrong? What's going on here? I pick up the phone, J-Lo. He goes, hello, sir. I'm just looking for your betting advice today. I go, oh, wow, that's a treat. So I guess I'm getting phone calls now and for that. But J-Lo, I did set the earth on fire yesterday. I had 100% profit boost. For those unfamiliar with gambling, 100% profit boost means however much you're supposed to make on that bet, you're going to make double of the original amount you're supposed to make. And I got that for free. So I'm sitting there at work yesterday doing the scoregami on the gambling and whatnot. And I'm putting my slate together. I'm like, Stanford points, boom. That's easy, right? Then you get later in the San Jose State points. That was easy. So I parlayed San Jose State and the Cubs. $50 won me like $200 or something like that. And then I won San Jose State spread, Stanford spread, Alec Aomaner, anytime touchdown scorer. So it was an eventful Friday, which really bricks me up for today. And Puckhead says 25 years down. J-Lo, real quick, last word on Nebraska. Matt Rule looked like a goofball last night. I don't know if you've seen him on the sidelines, but he was wearing one of those hats, and the motherfucker was wearing a normal hat, but his head is so, weird shape that it looked like a big hat. You know those big hats that people wear, the goofy ones? Yeah. Zach Edey wore one at a Colts game I was at, former Purdue center, the big guy. And, it looked like a big head on Matt Rule's head. It looked like one of those big heads. J-Lo, I don't know if you've seen that, but I thought that was hilarious.
No, I didn't, but I can imagine, though. Matt Rule, shout out to him, after, going to the NFL, not doing so well in Carolina. But then again, when you got a bozo owner, which we talked about many times in other pods, and then he goes to Nebraska, gets a second chance at the college level, and he's doing well. Like I mentioned earlier, Nebraska, I think they're going to be something to watch next year. This year they'll have a great year, but I think by next year it's going to be their window with Raiola at quarterback.
Yeah, we got some good comments here. Olivia says, morning, Olive. Always love our lady listeners. Thanks for tuning in on a Saturday showdown, our weekend to football kickoff show. Killa, our own co-host, says he'll be at the game tomorrow. Well, hop on the pod one of these days, brother, and catch up with us and talk about your game day experience. But for real, bring home a win for the Bucs. Go Bucs, fire the damn cannons. Bucs 78, Bucs 78, Bucs 78. Must be Tristan Wirfs burner account maybe we got in the house. I'm just kidding, but Bucs 78, you never know. Olivia showing love to the big Jim, saying Jim, yep, Jim Crowley, hell of a guy. Plus, be sure to hydrate if going tomorrow. Drink water today. You heard the man, Huncho. Drink some water, get some hydration in you, and bring us a damn victory. All right, brother? Go on that battlefield and win. Our Nebraska native saying goofball about Matt Rule. He needs a cowboy hat. Yeah, J-Lo, it's just one of those guys. He's just like a cartoon character to me. I don't know how to explain it, but you look at him and I mean, he's done a hell of a job in his college pit stops. I'll give him kudos for that. I believe he turned Temple's program around. Then he brought Baylor to the good side, and now he's at Nebraska doing decent. So I will give him credit for that. The Godfather says he looked like a cheesehead. You know those cheeses that Packers fans have on their head? Have you seen those?
Oh, yeah, many times at Bucs games. I just look at them and say, man, I'm surprised they're not melting with that cheese on their head.
Speaking of Bucs game and melting tomorrow, J-Lo, 1 o'clock kickoff, Bucs Broncos. That game's on Fox, and to me, we have my favorite announcer in the business outside of Chris Myers. I do love Chris Myers. Tim Brando, the great Tim Brando's on the call tomorrow, J-Lo. Very thrilled about this. How do you do is his famous little catchphrase. He was on the call last night. I give this guy credit. You know how hard it is to prepare Monday through Friday for a college football game, U of I, Nebraska. Now he's got to prepare for Bucs against Broncos on Sunday, J-Lo. So very excited, but 1 o'clock Eastern time, Tim Brando on the call. Tim Brando is a legend. His suit last night was awesome too, man. It was like one of those 1970s Christmas gift wrap suits. Like, it had like the different colors, the different checkerboard patterns. But J-Lo, very excited, and Matt Millen on the call as well. Thoughts on the announce crew for Bucs Broncos tomorrow?
Anybody but those last two jokers,
Oh, the Bucs hater Moose Johnston. He hates us, man.
Oh man, I rewatched the highlights during the week, and that man was all over the lines. You know what? And I was like, you know what? Please give us different announcers. That's annoying. I don't care who it is, just not those clowns. That guy he is such a Bucs hater. So F him. Glad we're not I don't have to hear his ridiculous, commentating. Now we got, another crew on there, which hopefully will be more entertaining than those two.
I wish we could have permanent crews. Like, you know how baseball, basketball, hockey, I get there's like 40, 50 times the games in some of those sports, whatever. Obviously exaggerating, but there's a lot more games in football, baseball, or in baseball, basketball, and hockey opposed to football. And, you get your radio crews, your TV crews. I would love if we had Chris Myers or Tim Brando every damn game. Every damn game. Give me Myers or Brando, please. Sign me up right now. Killa saying Moose is trash. Yeah, Killa, exactly. Wish Rondé did regular season games. Exactly what I'm talking about. Maybe our home crew could be, or, home crew is Rondé and Chris Myers, and then our road crew is like Brando and somebody else. That would be tremendous stuff. But we are live. What were you saying, Jayla?
I was saying that would be fire. If
Indeed.
That would have happened.
Then you got Gene Deckerhoff, holding down the flagship radio. Devin Gardner was very good, plus, and I'm a Devin Gardner guy. Again, this crew did week 0 college football kickoff as well. They did the New Mexico game against Montana State, I believe. And Devin Gardner, obviously, not historic, but, a well-journeyed career. Started off at Michigan, then was a Patriot, a Steeler, made his way into some other leagues. Him and Tim Brando are effective together. I guess he's more of a college cat, though, because Brando has Matt Millen with him tomorrow. But I'm a Matt Millen guy myself. Never a dull moment. You never know what the big guy might say. He's not PC, that's for damn sure, Matt Millen. So you never know how he's going to come out swinging. And the guy's been through a lot in life. And he is one of those interesting cats, interesting executives. He was an executive for a long time with the Lions, their president and CEO. He obviously went to Penn State. That's why I'm a Matt Millen guy, because that was his college. Then he obviously played for quite a bit in the NFL with the Oakland Raiders, the 49ers, and the Redskins. Oh, don't come at me for Redskins. That's what they were called at the time when he played there. J-Lo, just like yesterday, Todd Bowles said something like, put him down or something, and everyone on Twitter, oh my God, Todd Bowles said put him down. It's like, shut the hell up, you PC pieces of shit. I'm tired of these guys. Oh my, he spoke the wrong verbiage. Shut the hell up, man. I don't know if you noticed that, J-Lo, but it's getting old. It's getting annoying. And Todd Bowles always gets under pressure for no reason because of his verbiage, which I never find a problem with personally.
Nope. Let the man coach. He's doing all the right things right now. We're undefeated for a reason. He may say certain things that might drive people crazy, but for the most part, he's done a great job. He's earned my respect from last year, because I was one of those ones that would get frustrated with his play calling, not game managing, and all that. But he was still learning on the fly. In New York, he didn't have much success over there, but he's having success here. And the one thing, like I always say, the players want to play for him. The players want to play for him. Even the backups, that when their numbers were called, they balled out. So, for the people that want to hate on a comment that, that probably they blew out of context, and I don't know what to tell you. He's our coach. He's not going nowhere. And like I said, he's winning. That's what we want. He's winning football games.
And remember last week, a lot of people were, because, or not last, wow, we're already week 3 in the NFL season. It's just flying by here. But 2 weeks ago now, but, he played for the Redskins pretty much his whole career, spent 1 year elsewhere, maybe San Fran, I want to say, or something as such. But with the Redskins, he spent the beginning and the end of his career. So he referred to them as the Redskins. And you had people saying, oh my gosh, he spent his whole damn playing career with them. He grew up when they were called the Redskins. Sorry, it's not Todd Bowles' fault he can't keep up. One day they're called the Commanders. One day they're called the football team. Next they'll be called the Commandos or the Hunchos or the J-Los, whoever knows what the hell the Washington team will be called. J-Lo, now they're trying to petition to go back to the Redskins. So it's like, I'm tired of cancel culture coming out in full force. But we are live here on the Buccaneers on our Saturday Showdown kickoff show, all things college, gambling, NFL, Bucs, and so much more. We are going to get into our Bucs bets here in a little bit. Never mind. Huncho doesn't want the Washington Hunchos. He says not the Hunchos. All right. we'll take that off of consideration. But remember, if you are watching on YouTube, please like, subscribe, turn that notification bell on, and you'll never miss J-Lo or a goofball like myself live and thriving on air. But J-Lo, who are you looking out for? Denver, defense, offense, one guy on each side of the ball, preparing for this game as a Bucs guy, as a podcaster. And by the way, nice job on Buccaneers and Buck What You Heard special the other night with KB and Dr. Plus. That was a fun one to watch. But yeah, now I'm getting distracted. But anyways, J-Lo, one guy on each side of the ball for the Broncos, offensively, defensively. Who are you looking out for, my friend?
So offensively, I gotta say Josh Reynolds. He's a guy I think is very underrated. Pretty much playing the number one receiver role, in my opinion. Corton Stelling is just not getting it done. He's not playing like a true number one. He's getting paid pretty good money to be the number one receiver.
And remember, they had Judy, Patrick, and Sutton all making those big dollars at one point, and now it's like, that's what happens when you give money to the wrong places.
Yeah, they do. But Reynolds, I think, will be fun to watch. Him and Zion, I think, will have a good time battling it out, in my opinion, because obviously Dean's going to cover Sutton, which is fine by me. And then on the defense side of the ball for the Broncos, I'm going to have to say Patrick Surtain. It'll be really interesting to see, their number one corner against our number one receiver, Mike Evans. It'll be a fun battle to watch. I think.
Wow, you and Huncho were thinking exactly the same.
Oh, absolutely. Because there's nothing really signed but the Broncos. No disrespect to their, to the fans over there in Denver. They got a lot of rebuilding.
Sean Payton does know us like a book, though, and that's what scares me a little bit. I don't think he's the greatest of head coaches, and he is a douchebag. But for whatever reason, that guy's happened to hold our numbers. Speaking of numbers, plus those Gators at noon should be an adventure. Quick thoughts on your Gators today, J-Lo? How you feeling about that? And then end it with some Sean Payton gossip.
It's tough right now being a Gator fan. A lot of arguments going on. They want Billy Napier out. But at the end of the day, who's going to run the damn team? Who's going to run it any better? This coaching staff is just depleted. No disrespect to Napier. He's a great recruiter. He's just not the guy at coaching at a high level. Right now I'm just trying to get through one game at a time with them. I'm hoping to see Lagway get a little bit more touches. I think he creates more excitement for the fan base because that's who they want. But I think that hopefully they should take care of business today. Mississippi State, they're very beat up football program.
Ever since they lost Mike Leach, I feel like, rest in peace, the late great Mike Leach, icon, legend, historic, one of my favorite coaches of all time. But ever since they lost him, J-Lo, I feel like they just haven't been able to find their footing.
No, and it's hard because they're not one of the favorite programs to go to, even though they did pull off a Mike Leach, which I was very impressed with. RIP, shout out to him. But they just, ever since he passed, they can find a replacement, and they got pounded at home by Toledo, like pounded last week. So if Florida can't get it done in Starkville today, then obviously this is going to be an even worse season than I can imagine. I was thinking 500, but now it's looking like maybe 3 or 4 games because, when you get beat at home in your house twice, that's not the Florida Gator football that I grew up watching. They're all about, being tough to beat at home. Now they're not. Now they're kind of like the Bucs over the years where nobody's intimidated to go to Gainesville at all to play Florida. That's where we're at right now.
And thoughts on Sean Payton as well.
Oh yeah, that wonderful fraud.
What if he ended up being the Florida coach?
Oh man, I'll be punching the air, man. I don't want that guy there. He's a pro football coach. At the same time, I feel like he was only good because of Drew Brees. Him and Brees were like a match made in heaven. But after Brees left, he wasn't the same the next year. He couldn't get Jameis going, and then he tried Taysom Hill, had some success with him, but at the same time though, he gave up after that year. He's like, all right, well, Brees is retired. I can't get nothing going here. I'm out of here. And then he put the Saints in cap hell. Now the Saints, I mean, they're winning now, but we'll see how that road ends when we cross that bridge. But Sean Payton is not the coach that some people think he is. I think he's a fraud, and he's going to be exposed the rest of the year and probably might get fired after year
I,
2.
I remember a couple of years back, we had a debate in one of our Bucks group chats, JLo, not the one you're in, but a different one I'm in. And Sean Payton's name came up and Mike Tomlin's name came up. And I'm like, I'd way rather have Mike Tomlin. And, a lot of people disagreed, thought I was crazy. And now it seems pretty evidently clear that Tomlin's winning football games year in and year out. But it does scare me about Sean Payton knowing us pretty well. But the good thing about that is we know him even better, right? So as much as he knows us, we know him even better. And that's why I am watching out for. Not that he's been great yet, but to me, he's a man who could get their offense going, or he could be the problem why it's flat. Bo Nix, you got to watch out for this kid. Hasn't had great success yet. Upon 10-yard completions, his percentage is very low. It's abysmal. He's completed most of his passes at the line of scrimmage or behind the line of scrimmage, actually. But again, that's why they struggle. If he gets it going, they could surely step it up a notch. And we got to really, really make sure we're not overlooking this kid. We got to treat him just as we did Jaden Daniels week 1, except we got to fix one thing, J-Lo. We got to get better with the quarterback spy because Bo Nix, not that he's looking to run, but he is mobile in the pocket. Jaden Daniels was very effective week 1 for the Commandos and with his legs and putting some defenders on ice skates, so we got to make sure Bo Nix isn't doing the same thing just because we're locking down the tight ends, the wide receivers, Javonte Williams, the other running backs and whatnot. Bo Nix could easily get 30, 40, 50 rushing yards in this game. So I think I'm watching Bo Nix offensively. Plus, says Godwin should have a good game. Bet the over 63 receiving yards. I agree. And then defensively, I'm watching Zach Allen. Again, Justin School's going to be in, J-Lo. At right tackle, Luke Godecki. We'll get to the injury report here literally in a couple of minutes. But J-Lo, that's my guy to watch out for. Zach Allen. Todd Bowles gave him kudos. Liam Cohen gave him kudos in their pressers this week. This kid's a really good kid. He could really put pressure after the quarterback, and we really got to watch out for him, the former Boston College defensive end. He could really light people up. He was in Arizona before, had 5 sacks last year, 5.5 sacks a year before that, but he gets a lot of pressures. He gets a lot of quarterback hits, and to me, that's a guy they might move to Justin School's side of the football. So I'm going Bo Nix and Zach Allen, J-Lo.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I keep hearing all week is Zach Allen, But at the end of the day, he's not Aiden Hutchinson. He's not going to get 4 or 5 sacks. I promise you that. He'll probably get pressure on Baker or make Baker scramble a little bit out of the pocket. But it's just something we're going to have to game plan on. I'm pretty sure Liam Cohen's got a game plan, some kind of package to kind of help the right side to keep Zach Allen on ice and keep him from getting after Baker after what we experienced last week. Yeah, School, he's not very, attractive lineman at the moment. But, but that's all we got for right now. We don't have a choice. We got to go with him. I'd rather go with him.
And Josh Kayepo, friend of the show's, not that School played great, but outside of the sacks he let up, I know that's saying, but he actually played pretty good outside of the 4 or 5 really, really bad sacks he let up, J-Lo.
Oh, no, exactly. I mean, some people don't really watch the highlight tape as much. They don't really watch some of the blocking he has done. I mean, yeah, he got owned in the first quarter, but then after that, I mean, he only got to Baker one time, later on in the game. So my opinion is, get the run game going, run the ball down their throats, whether it's Rashad or Bucky Irving. Do what you got to do on that. Because their run defense is not very good at all. From what I've noticed the first 2 weeks, they've been giving a lot of, big runs. So I see Bucky Irving and Rashad White having big-time games. Maybe not 100 yards rushing, but they'll be contributors to where they'll be able to run the ball and balance the deep balls for Baker Mayfield to help keep him on his feet. And Bo Nix, I feel he's gonna need some time. It's gonna take time for him to develop. So what do you do when you have a pretty good defense? You get after the quarterback, And if he wants to run, go ahead. Go ahead and run for your life because Savasi Dennis is coming on, and that man lays the boom. So you
Well,
go
we
ahead.
got to make sure that'll happen because Bo Nix does have 9 carries for 60 yards and 1 touchdown to his credit to this point. So, although only 9 carries ain't a ton, he's averaging 4 or 5 carries a game, about 30 yards, and then he has a touchdown. So, I really do hope we learn from Jaden Daniels in week 1 that, hey, we got to spy this guy. And I think Servachier Dennis would be the perfect guy to do that. I am very confident in our linebacker core, J-Lo. I do like our linebacker core a lot and the youth movement we have brought to there. Plus says I say spread formation and dice them up. Exactly. That's what I would do as well. Speaking of dice them up, we're going to go over the injury report now, J-Lo, and see who's looking in, who's looking out on both sides of the football. Then we'll get to our Bucs bets, and then Joey Nips will join us for Bucs score predictions and so much more. Right now, J-Lo, Luke Odecki ruled out with the concussion for the Bucs starting right tackle. Kalijah Cansey, his calf yet again, he's out, which is fine. Let him get healthy and back into things. Antoine Winfield Jr. is out as well with the foot injury. And then 2 guys who are doubtful. Cameron Johnson, the undrafted free agent wide receiver, he's doubtful as he didn't practice with an ankle injury. And then Vita Vea is doubtful as well, but not technically ruled completely out yet. Both William Golston and Josh Hayes are questionable. Then for the Broncos, you have Baron Browning, the linebacker, who is ruled out. J.L. Skinner is ruled out. Everybody else is ready to roll on the Broncos, but they did lose a big piece of their offensive line this week as well, who's out for quite some time on the right side of it. So that's always a good thing, J-Lo. Bucks a little banged up right now, though. Not really concerned yet. Again, we talked last week about it. I'd rather see these injuries now. But, yeah, those wondering, Matt McGlinchey is out, the Broncos' right tackle. That's a big loss for them, J-Lo.
Yes, it is. But I want to put this to rest with Kalijah Cansey's injury. You know, those calf injuries are hard to recover from. They're not something that just
I'd rather
goes
have him sit out than come
away.
back and what happened
Exactly.
in Minnesota last year.
Well, but here's another thing. A fan put out there that, oh, this man's always injured, with his calf. Let me tell you this. When you injure your calf the way he did last year, you got to learn how to play on that calf again. The calf's not going to be 100% ever again. It's going to be at 90%, which means he's got to learn how to practice and stretch out his calf better, kind of like how Mike Evans had to handle his hamstring injury. Those hammies are doozies. So many players are getting injured with, the hammies, and the calf strain and the calf injuries are the same thing. So Canty, I think, will learn how to, practice and be more cautious on the calf a little bit so he doesn't strain it again or sprain it, whatever he's got going on with that calf. Vita Vea, don't rush the man back. Let the man take his time coming back because we're going to need him for that long road stretch of the schedule later on. I mean, I'm fine with the guys we got coming in. I'm excited to see CJ Brewer, who got promoted to the roster, friend of the show. Congrats. I liked what he did when he stepped in there for Vita Vea. As far as Cameron Johnson, it's unfortunate with the ankle
He's not
injury.
really a big deal, Cam
No.
Johnson. He's an undrafted
No.
free agent, wide receiver number 5. So I agree with you on the Canty front, though, on the Vita front. But I do like getting, Brewer into the swing of things, Green more into the swing of things, guys like that. J-Lo, you make a very good point. Get their feet wet. I thought Brewer's been incredible so far. And then on wide receiver, maybe you'll see a Cody Thompson promotion, or maybe you'll see another guy like a Ryan Miller or somebody else of those natures that could get called up. And, hey, maybe they'll pay dividends. One guy I don't want to see called up, he's still out anyways, Rakim Jarrett. But that's a whole nother level. Speaking of whole nother level, guys, we do have Bucs bets coming. We're getting a lot of questions about it right now, J-Lo. Over under in receptions, plus says the over is enticing. So let's get right to it, J-Lo. If you had a bet, would you bet the Bucs spread -6, which means the Bucs have to win by 7 to cover, or would you bet Bucs money line -295? So if you put $20 on the money line, you'd win $7. Are you going to put your 20 on the Bucs -6 or 20 on the Bucs money line to win you 7?
I said the spread. I say they can definitely win by more than 7 points. So I say go with the spread. That's where I put my 20 at.
All righty, I'd go with the spread as well. I mean, I'd put a lot on the money line just to get money back because I am confident we'll win. But I would put money on the spread. If you're only going to do one or the other, the spread is the better return. Over under 41, J-Lo. So that means a 22-20 game gets the over. You going over? You going under?
I say under. I don't see the Broncos scoring many points in this game. I say maybe 10, 17 at best, but they're not going to get over 20 points. I don't see that happening.
Yeah, I'm going to go over only because I think Bucs get enough points themselves damn near. I see this being like a 28-14 or a 31-17 type game where the Bucs do a lot of it. So I'll go over just for that sake. Again, we're minutes away from Joey Nips joining to talk Bucs score predictions, Colts, Bears, college football, and more. J-Lo, Baker Mayfield, 239.5 over under passing yards. Do you like Baker to get 240, or do you think you're going under?
I think he'll head over the 240 mark. I think he's going to have fun throwing the ball around on the Broncos defense. Even if Mike, even Surtain had some success, keeping Mike out of the game a little bit, I just don't see them shutting down Godwin, getting the ball to him, Trey Palmer, or even Cade Otton, like Michael Pless said. This game favors really good matchup for Cade Otton. So I say over for sure for Baker.
I'll do his touchdown passes, over under 1.5 touchdown passes. I'll go over. I think he finds Godwin and Evans or maybe another player out there as well. So I'm going to go over 1.5 touchdown passes for him. J-Lo, we're going to go to another one for you. Bo Nix over half an interception. So that means if he throws a pick, you win. If you put $20 on it, you would win 12. Do you think the Bucs are able to pick off Bo Nix?
Oh, yeah. I think they'll pick him off 2 or 3 times. Truthfully, I think we're finally able to get the hands on the ball. I see Zion getting one. I see Christian Izzy sneaking in one. Hell, I even say Jordan Whitehead sneaking get one. So, yeah, definitely over on that one.
I'll do Mike Evans receiving yards, 64.5. I'm going over. He didn't have the greatest of games last week. I think he responds in a huge way this week. J-Lo, same for Chris Godwin. Him and Evans both 64.5. If you could only take one of those two cats, who would you take?
I'll take Godwin. Like I said, he's one that's been on fire a little bit lately. Even though Mike did have a great game the first game, and he had a decent game against Detroit. But I say Godwin. I'll bet on Godwin. He's unguardable right now.
Mike Evans over under 4.5 catches. I'll go over. I think he gets 5 catches in this one. J-Lo, we'll go to you next. Cade Otton, 2.5 catches over under.
Over. I think we're finally going to see Otton get involved in the pass game. I think he'll get over.
And then we're going to go into the world of rushing as we wrap up our Bucs bets here. Bucky Irvin, you handle this one, J-Lo. 28.5 rushing yards for Bucky Irvin.
I say over. I think him and White are going to have a good game. I say over for Bucky Irving.
Baker Mayfield over under 9.5 rushing yards. I think he gets over. That just takes one nice run. He's been doing that pretty dang well lately. Then J-Lo, you on the rushing. Rashad White over under 49.5 rushing yards.
Under.
You don't think he gets there? I can't really blame you there. J-Lo, if you were to bet one guy to score a touchdown for the Buccaneers, let's see here. Let's move on to some defensive ones, and then we'll wrap up here on our Bucs bets. But defensively, let's see here. Some of the odds at hand. Sorry, the thing is lagging a little bit. But over under half a sack. If you could take one Bucs player, Yaya Diaby, $10 to win you $14.50. Logan Hall, $10 to win you $25.50. Or JTS, $10 to win $19. Who are you going with?
I'll go with JTS. He's been playing some good football. I think he's tied for the team in stats with a sack and a half, I think he has. So give me JTS.
And if you could pick one player to bet on for an interception, Jamel Dean, $10 to win $58.50. Zion McCollum, $10 to win $58.50. Jordan Whitehead, same odds. Who would you go with out of that group?
I say Zion. Zion almost had 2 picks last week. He had 1, but he almost had a second one. So give me Zion McCollum.
Agreed there, and then I'll end it with the special teamers, and we'll get to our score predictions with Joey right now. Game field goals, Chase McLaughlin over 1.5 field goals. I'm going over for Chase. I think he gets 2 field goals in this one. So there we go. That's our Bucs bets, and now we'll get you our Bucs score predictions with Joey in the car. I think he's somewhere driving to meet his buddy Seth and bleed blue together. Joey, how the hell you doing? Are you going to be singing a Colts fight song in a little bit?
Yeah, I thought you were leaving me in the slammer with P. Diddy. It took me so long to get here, but awesome to be with you boys again today. And I think the Bucs are going to play big buck ball. It's going to be a lot of good defense. The offense,
when you're in a car, you get last priority. That's how it goes,
Very fair, very fair. But I think we're going to see some classic buck ball. I think I'm going Tampa Bay 24, Denver 15.
And who would be your player of the game if you could pick one?
It ain't going to be K-Dot, and because somehow he got me negative fantasy points as a last-minute insert last week. But who I will put in the mix having a big game, I'm thinking the running game in general just goes silly. Rashad White has had some decent runs here and there. Bucky Irving been a solid backup, but I think the running game really exposes the Denver defense. They're probably going to be really focused on Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. And that's when you bring it back down, you give it to the running game, average over 4 yards a carry, and really melt the clock in a way, and what will be an impressive Bucs win.
Yeah, we got Bud Cannibalist liking it as well. Joey says 24-15, plus says 28-10. Our own A-Cats sent in his scores. He couldn't make it this morning. He says 17-13 Bucs in a closer than expected game. He's at the Bob Evans, having a nice little breakfast right now. A-Cats at the great Bob Evans. Says 17-13 Bucs, and I think he said Baker is his player of the game. J-Lo, where are you going for your score prediction, my friend?
I say Bucs 31, Denver 13. I think the Bucs are going to just pretty much dominate them most of the game. They might be off to a little rusty start in the first quarter, but then they'll just take control. Like Joey mentioned, run the ball well, expose their defense. And then I think MVP of the game is going to be Baker. Let Baker bake, manage, not turn the ball over, and get us some points in the end zone to win the game.
Agreed. Emily writes in, the wonderful Emily. We love Emily and our lady listeners, but she goes, I hate treating this game as a win. Exactly, Emily. We can't think like that. We can't get ahead of ourselves. We got to put our foot down and really prepare the same as we did for the Commanders. We got to really prepare the same way we did on the road against Denver. It's the National Football League, and that douchebag motherfucker Sean Payton, he's a scum sucker. I mean, this is a guy who has some horror stories out there of him in college with fraternities. Won't get into too many details there, but, a Naperville native, not one that I'm proud of to be a native. That's for damn sure. But anyways, this ain't going to be an easy game. I agree with Emily. I definitely agree with her that we can't overlook this. That always does open the door for a loss. We got to come out swinging here. I'm going 27-17 Bucs in this one. I think the Bucs end up winning by 10. The over hits. McLaughlin gets a couple field goals. And I'm going with a guy who could use, not a breakout game, so to speak, is a big game, but a guy who could use a nice little game. I'm going Anthony Nelson, J-Lo. What do you say there?
Surprising pick. I won't say no to that. I mean, I'm hoping to see that out of him. He's getting paid pretty well, to be a backup. So let's see it. Let's see him have that breakout game.
Yeah, the thing that I like about Nelly, I think he's just – I think he gets a sack, and for me, I think it's a big-time sack coming at a big point in the game. So I hope I'm right there. I think it'll be someone in the edge room. But we got 27-17 Bucs by me, J-Lo 31-13 Bucs, Bud Cannibalist 35-16, Hunch 30-13, Cats 17-13, plus 28-10, Joey 24-15. Scary, we're all on the Bucs, kind of expected – being a Bucs podcast. Speaking of being all on the Bucs, Joey, are your Colts going to bleed blue this weekend for your buddy Seth out there in Indy? Give us your thoughts on that as you're heading to the game yourself. Is Troy on a sugar rush yet? Do we still have him under control?
This kid's on the over on Posh hits and the 3-hour car ride that we've been embarking on. So he's doing just great. We're bleeding blue. He's not. He's the Bears guy. But, yeah, I didn't spend $500 on tickets to see my team get its ass kicked, okay? So we're coming down here. We're going to have to deal with the hog mollies of the Chicago Bears fandom. Not looking forward to the stadium being about 34% Bears fans. But what are you going to do? We'll have to just show them up. And at 0-2, these teams are in desperation mode. That's why I'm glad. I think Emily brought it up with the Denver. You can't just overlook people in this league. Ravens are 0-2. The Cincinnati Bengals are 0-2. Moral of the story as we get back to Indy, it's desperate times call for desperate measures. You bring out all the stops. I expect Shane Steichen and Anthony Richardson to really dial up a lot of QB runs, a lot of, Jonathan Taylor option type plays where you have your read pass options there. But we're the worst run defense in football, so we might bleed all the way to the end zone for their run game, but they haven't done much. DeAndre Swift only averaging slightly under 2 yards a carry. I'm feeling pretty good even though we're 0-2, but I'm not going to get my hopes up. I'm just going to be loud and proud from my seat and go full stunner mode on Bears fans. So hope to get the win. It's going to be a big game. It's going to be a packed house, incredible crowd, one of the best crowds you'll ever see, and we'll hopefully win the ball game.
Well, if you go full stunner mode, you might not make the full game. So let's hope you do go a little lighter than that. And
little lighter. Nobody can live up to the great stun.
No, he holds his own from the overzealous security and whatnot, that's for sure. And I will say this, Indianapolis actually by far the closest drive for Bears fans out of any other stadium out there, even interdivision games and whatnot. So it does make sense that Bears fans, and man, I will say Bears fans are terrible. They are trash. They are mean people. They're not nice. If you're a road fan at a Bears game, they treat you like assholes, man. So I refuse to go to Soldier Field these days for that reason. A, it's a terrible stadium, and B, their fans are obnoxious. Our own A-Cats, our own Stunna, they have horror stories running in with Bears fans. So good luck there, Joe, dealing with those.
What's the only way to shut up the knuckleheads is to beat them up. So that's what we're going to have to do.
Hey, we got Mr. H and Mrs. H in the house.
Hey!
Mrs. H is here, and she says, well, I guess nothing because I can't see it. But Josh Downs is back in action, says Bud Cannibals. He writes in. Before we get to J-Lo's thoughts on Bears Colts, Joey, Josh Downs back in the fold. Any limited snap counts expected, and how does that affect the role of Alec Pierce, who's been coming on rather strong?
Okay, so very good point by Mr. Bud Cannibals, and here's why. The Colts tight ends are about as dry as I am in life right now within the woman category. So you get Josh Downs back. He's going to be a little limited maybe in terms of total snaps, but he is the blanket receiver for Richardson. They have the strongest repertoire going back to last season, throwing to each other. They feel really comfortable. I don't see it affecting Alec Pierce too much because he hangs on the outside. I do see A.D. Mitchell getting less snaps. Last week, he had a dropped ball and also a couple of miscommunicated routes. So I'm thinking Josh Downs, you'll see float over the middle. He's that guy who will catch the ball 5 to 10 yards and then might take it 30 after the catch to 40. So look for Josh Downs to, even if it doesn't end up big in the snap count, you'll see a lot of plays, a lot of passes to him, and look for him to get involved early.
J-Lo, thoughts on Colts Bears? Who do you have pulling this one out? Do you see the AFC 0-2 Colts led by former Florida Gator Anthony Richardson coming out on top?
I mean, it's do or die for the Colts right now. They need to get a W going. I've seen how the Bears have played. I think Caleb Williams still has a lot to learn. He's gonna be, pretty much patience type quarterback, even though the Bears fans don't want to hear that, which I don't give a shit. But the Colts, I feel like, will pull out a win at home. I think they'll get the run game going with Jonathan Taylor, and now that Josh Downs is back, I think he'll contribute a lot to get the offense going. Anthony Richardson, like I mentioned before, he's playing, I think, his 20th game as a starter since high school. So I think he'll finally, get something clicking here and get the ball out, use his legs. Not too much because we don't want him getting injured again. That's his only problem. But for the most part, I see the Colts pulling out a good one at home. but a close one because, of course, you can't overlook the other team.
Mike, Mr. H says it's a sad day for the Huskers, but hope streams eternal. We love you guys, Mr. and Mrs. H. Keep bleeding Husker right out there. You guys are in a better spot than you were any of the past 10 seasons. So don't get too down and out after one game. That was a good game. U of I is a good team this year. So don't beat yourself up too much. Bud Cannibalist says Colts by 10 plus points. Wow. Bud,
I need to beat this guy. Great guy, good guy.
Bud is saying Colts by 10. Listen, I think it's simple. I've watched both of these teams, both of their games, every single play pretty much to this point. And that Bears win against the Titans was because of the Titans. I'm not discrediting the Bears, but the Bears did nothing to win that football game. What happened in that football game was Titans mishandled a punt. The punt got blocked, and then the Bears returned it for a touchdown. And then later on, Will Levis is out there throwing hopscotch passes to the other opposing team and giving the Bears easy field position. And the Bears' offensive line has been terrible right now. Their running game is non-existent. Keenan Allen's out yet again, but what a surprise, right? Anytime you get a guy like Keenan Allen, you're getting what you're asking for. Tight ends have been non-existent on the Bears, and really tight ends have been non-existent on the Colts. So a lot of non-existent people to go around between both of these squads offensively thus far. I think Colts have the better likelihood to break out only because I think Colts have been hindered by their coach to this point. I really believe that Shane Steichen and Gus Bradley are the reason why the Colts are 0-2. I think if they had better coaching performances, they'd be minimum 1-1, if not 2-0. I'm not going to hold either game on the players. I mean, last week you barely play your best player, Jonathan Taylor.
Oh well, I'm gonna disagree. Fully disagreed upon the defense. You could talk about Gus Bradley when you let up 450 yards rushing, the most since 1980 something for a Colts team. That's on the players when you're getting gashed like that. So yes, there's some coach responsibility, but the players.
It's on both. We had a very similar scenario with Mike Smith years back, and J-Lo remembers this far too well, sadly. Mike Smith, our defensive coordinator, very similar to Gus Bradley, but a lot more successful than Gus Bradley. He made it multiple playoff appearances as head coach. He was our terrible defensive coordinator. I think we let up 38 points to the Bears and Mitch Trubisky. We fired Mike Smith, and then our defense did get more competent with the same exact players out there. So I do disagree there. I think coaching is a big part of the Colts 0-2 start.
I agree on Bradley. Not Steichen, but Bradley, I agree with you.
Well, I'm just saying, if Bucs fans didn't see Mike Evans the entire fourth quarter, I think we'd raise some hell to Liam Cohen and co. So Jonathan Taylor's fourth quarter absence was inexcusable as well to me. But let bygones be bygones. We're on to this week. I think the Colts coaching staff knows they're getting a lot of flack right now. I think they know they have room for improvement, and I do think they improve. And Caleb Williams has not been impressive, and I can't really blame him. His offensive line has been terrible. You bring in big money guys in there like a Nate Davis and whatnot, you expect better outcomes. So I think the Colts get this ship turned around tomorrow. I'm going with the gritty Colts win. I think 23-13 Colts bring home the win tomorrow. Again, I think Bears defense is pretty good. They got Kyler Gordon. I'm a big fan of his. Javon Brisker. J-Lo, they got that big Florida defense lineman who's pretty damn good as well. So
Dexter.
Yeah, Dexter, who got all that money robbed from him. That was incredible too, sadly. Sad story there. But this Bears defense is legit. I think the Colts just got to fine-tune some things. Bears have no running game regardless. And I think the Colts are sleeping good tomorrow night. 23-13 Colts I'm going with. Fellas, all of our college football teams are in action today as well. Puckhead, we'll get to a couple comments here quick before we get to college football talk. Puckhead says, per Mrs. H, she keeps grabbing this from me. She said, Joey and Anthony, you guys are good.
Whoa.
Bud Cannibalist, I just don't think Bears haven't figured out the offense and Keenan Allen is out. Exactly. An injured offense haven't figured. This is a good time for teams to play the Bears because I do think by week 7 or week 8, Caleb Williams looks better. Their offensive line looks better. I think if you have the Bears on your schedule this year, you really want to play them in September or beginning of October before they become a more competent team. I really believe that. The Leprechauns in Indy, Joey Puckett saying he took Colts also. Joey?
Well, hey, good stuff there by yeah, absolutely. I can't wait to hopefully see him. Maybe he'll be standing in the food line getting a little bit upset like at Notre Dame that one time. But I brought my big Grover Stewart jersey, so be looking for the Black Knights. Got my signed Richardson thanks to Tampa Tone. So full throttle, ready to go back to college football talk.
Demetris Pattersall says Baker Mayfield over 9.5 rushing yards or Bucs over 22.5 points. Both of them. Hit both of them. Mm-hmm. Both of them just smash the hell out of that up button. And now to the world of college football, guys. We're going to get into some predictions here. I'm going to go through the motions, and we're going to do our college football betting pick'em now. We'll cue the music. We'll get into the world of our college football betting, and then we'll get into our favorite teams' games as well before our breadwinners. J-Lo, 12 o'clock Eastern time. James Madison, 11.5-point underdogs at North Carolina. Who do you like in that one?
Oh, North Carolina at home. I think North Carolina will pretty much handle that no problem at home.
And then we're going to double dip you. Florida, noon Eastern at Mississippi State. Florida is -6.5 on the road, J-Lo. Are you comfortable with that?
So predictable. But I think Florida will pull out a win. But I think it'll be more closer. I think it'll be more down to a field goal. And hopefully this defense will, do something. Because right now I'm like a kid with a stick poking at him saying, do something. Get up the quarterback. I let Florida on the road, though. I do. I just have a little hate-love relationship right now with them.
I can't blame you, but hey, just look at it like this. They win today, they're back to 2-2, 500. So that's all you got to think about and get to today. Joey, this one's a fun one. Your Indiana Hoosiers at home dropping 29 points to Big Biff Poggi, the OG Charlotte head coach who wears cutoffs and whatnot. Indiana -29. Who do you got there?
Yeah, I'm going with the home Hoosiers. Coach Signetti from James Madison has done a great job of building the culture. People are talking about the Tom Crean effect early on when things were working well for Indiana hoops. He's really brought that stability and culture back. And I'm not going to be too high because, they haven't played the best opponents, but they are 3-0. They should cover today, but I could see a backdoor happen on them. But look for them to win big.
I'll take the next one, 12 o'clock Eastern, Kansas at West Virginia. West Virginia +0.5 point. Give me West Virginia in this one. Kansas was struggling back-to-back weeks. They lost to U of I, then they lost to UNLV on Friday night last week. West Virginia, they were getting a lot of love in their home stadium before the year to Penn State. Had a tough one there. Haven't really found their footing yet. I think West Virginia gets a home win today, barely, but I think they do just enough to squeak that out. Another noon Eastern kickoff, J-Lo. NC State getting 17 points on the road at Clemson. Where are you heading there?
I just feel like Clemson is just not that good. Everyone says they are. I like NC State on the road with the W.
Joey, we're moving later into the day as we go on here. We're going to pull up a good one here. Let's see. Your team, Notre Dame, 3:30 Eastern, at home, dropping 4 touchdowns, 28 points against Maction Zone. Miami of Ohio. Is Notre Dame an upset alert yet again against a Maction team?
No, listen, that was embarrassing. Total brutal loss to Northern Illinois a couple weeks back. But last week we went down to West Lafayette, just a couple-hour ride away there. Kicked their ass by a good, I think it was 30-plus, 40-plus. And Marcus Freeman will have the boys rebound today. They had a tough week 1 win on the road. A lot of people will be down on them until they play somebody again. Unfortunately, we do not. That being said, Notre Dame big today under touchdown Jesus.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Notre Dame today. I think they bounced back as well. I think they hit
Rudy.
Yeah, Rudy, exactly.
There you go, J-Lo. There you go.
J-Lo is on.
Legend.
I'm going to take the next one, 3:30 kickoff, a battle of the ranks here. USC minus 4.5 on the road against Michigan. I love USC's quarterback this year. I think he's incredible. Miller Moss, he's been very well to this point and done a tremendous job. I think USC beats Michigan pretty good in that one. I would lay the 4.5 and feel pretty good about that one in all honesty. Not that Michigan's a slouch, but they just haven't looked all that great this year in totality. And I'll go back to back. Penn State minus 48.5 against Kent State. I'm not going to bet against Penn State, but that's a lot of points. I don't feel comfortable. I think Penn State wins comfortably, maybe by 45, 47 points, but 49's a lot. I'd stay away from that one. Penn State wins comfortably, but Kent State, you never know. J-Lo, 3:30 Eastern kickoff. UCLA plus 22.5 at LSU.
Ooh, I've been looking at that one the most, so I'm glad you got me on this one. But I think LSU will win in a close one at home. I feel like LSU got lucky, I believe, last week or a couple weeks ago. Oh, no, yeah, last week in South Carolina, barely came back and won. But I think they'll end up winning at home. It's hard to go play over there in Death Valley over in LSU.
Joey, one of the games of the day, 4 o'clock Eastern, Utah at Oklahoma State, two of the best teams in the country to this point so far. As Emily logs off, says, have a good day, boys, heading to work. Thank you, Emily, as always, for tuning in. We love you.
Bye.
You have a great work day. But Joey, Utah minus 1.5 at Oklahoma State, 4 o'clock Eastern. Joey?
Yeah, this has been the game. I mean, look, you got two veteran quarterbacks in here who have been at each of these schools for what seems like 1,000,000+ years each right now. I mean, look at I think the one quarterback for Oklahoma State's been on 3 schools in like 7 years. And then we all know Cam Rising with that steady flow. So I look for a good game today. Not sure who will come out on top right yet, but it's going to be a battle of the 15-year veterans.
Yeah, I'll go with a 5 o'clock Eastern kickoff. TCU minus 2.5 points at SMU. Give me TCU there. SMU's looked abysmal this year. Their quarterback play hasn't been great. Their first year in a new conference as well. SMU, they're in the ACC now. They're just struggling right now. Give me TCU in that one. J-Lo, friend of the program, the great Anthony Gator. They're at home today, 6 o'clock Eastern kickoff, minus 13.5 points against Monmouth University. Are you going with our friend of the program, Anthony Gator and company?
Oh, yeah, for sure. FIU should be able to take care of business at home against whatever school you just named. I don't even know who they are. So I'll go with FIU at home.
Joey, Miami.
Gator Nation.
Miami of Florida, Joey, at South Florida. Florida plus 17 points at home. South Florida plus 17 points at home against Miami. That's 7 o'clock kickoff. Are you going with South Florida getting the 17, Joe?
Oh, man, this one's truly a coin flip for me. You know what? It's an all Florida battle. Give me Florida in the points. At least they're at home. I see backdoor cover written all over.
Tennessee minus 7, 7:30 kickoff Eastern time at Oklahoma. Give me Tennessee minus the 7. I think they blow out Oklahoma tonight.
Wow.
Ooh, in their house?
I think in their own house. I think Oklahoma is on fraudster alert.
Troy agrees with you.
Yeah, Tennessee's looked incredible this year. Give me Tennessee right there in that one. J-Lo 7:30 Big Ten Showdown. Iowa minus 3 on the road in Minnesota. They've looked pretty good so far. You going with Iowa minus the 3 or Minnesota at home?
Oh, I've always liked Iowa. I like them on the road, minus 3. I'll take that all day. No disrespect to Minnesota, that they've had a very underrated program, but I'll never bet against Iowa at times. I don't know why. I just feel Iowa is a better team tonight.
Joey, 8 o'clock Eastern. Baylor taking on Prime and Company in Colorado's house. Colorado minus 1.5.
Yeah, I think the wheels have completely fallen off. You got Deion. I don't remember. It's like they're all over the place in their press conferences and with the media. I was on that train last year fully in support. I'm off it. Give me Baylor.
I'll take a fun nightcapper here, 10:30 Eastern, Kansas State -6.5 at BYU, over under 49.5 there. I like BYU bumped to 7.5. I would give it an extra point. Take the 7.5 points, lose a little bit of money
That's a
there.
great nightcapper.
That is an incredible one. That's been a really fun two teams so far early on in this year. Again, BYU's now in the Big 12, so is Kansas State. So that'll be a really fun matchup there. Give me BYU getting the points at home against a tough, gritty Kansas State team with a young quarterback. J-Lo, you take us home in college pick'em. Northern Iowa at midnight, traveling to Hawaii. Northern Iowa's getting 7.5.
I say Hawaii at home over the rainbow, baby. I like Hawaii at home.
That's a game where you're scrambling around. You either won big or lost big, and you're hoping to rebuke your money right there. Before we get to our breadwinners, we're going to do our NFL pick'em. This isn't with the spreads, though. This is just straight up. So ignore the spreads here. We're just going to do NFL pick'em right now, and I'll rotate. J-Lo, Packers at Titans. Who do you like in that one?
Packers. Titans are a bomb. It's a dumpster fire right now. I'm sorry. Mayo boy ain't it. So Packers.
Continuing with the 1 o'clock Eastern time slate on tomorrow's Sunday NFL kickoff. Joey, Giants at Browns. Who do you like there?
Browns. I mean, the Giants are playing like they are sitting in a toilet bowl at times. What did you tell me? They let up 7 field goals last week. Got touchdowns, one of the only teams to show that kind of stuff and not win. So give me Cleveland.
Yeah, that was incredible. Giants scored 3 touchdowns and didn't let up a touchdown and lost the game. You should be blackballed for doing something as such. 1 o'clock Eastern, Texans at Minnesota. Give me the Vikings in that one. I've liked what the Vikings have done this year. They've been playing really good football. Texans have played okay. Haven't been too. They could easily be 0-2 right now. So give me the Vikings at home. That one all day. J-Lo, Eagles, Saints, 1 o'clock Eastern tomorrow in NOLA.
Man, I hate both those teams, but I say the Eagles rebound and they get an upset win on the road. I think they'll go into New Orleans and rebound for the game that they should have had. You know, they're who we thought they were, but anyway. Yeah, that's all I gotta say about that.
Joey, 1 o'clock Eastern, Chargers, Steelers. A little bit of a QB trouble in Chargers world, perhaps. Herbert is banged up in that one. Chargers at Pittsburgh, 1 o'clock Eastern.
Yeah, J-Lo just said we are who we thought they were. I don't really know where these two teams are truly at. You got a good quarterback play. I mean, is Herbert playing it for sure in that game?
He's likely to play, but not a guarantee yet.
All right, well, then I'm going to go Pittsburgh to play it safe because if somehow Herbert doesn't play, obviously that makes a difference. But even with Herbert, I'll say Pittsburgh in a close game.
Moving on to the later slate tomorrow, 4:05 Eastern. Davey Canales and company travel to Vegas to take on the Raiders. I'm taking the Raiders. I think Raiders win big, 4:05 Eastern kickoff. Again, Panthers are just terrible. They lost their best player for the year, Brown. I don't care if Dalton or Bryce Young or J-Lo's their starting quarterback. I think they're in for a rough showing. So give me the Raiders tomorrow, big time at home. J-Lo sticking with the afternoon slate, 4:05 kickoff, Seattle Dolphins. What say you?
Oof, tough one. I know they don't have Tua right now, but I just don't buy the Seattle hype. I really don't. They're trying to hype up Seattle for some reason. I don't buy the hype at all. And I think because of that being said, I say the Dolphins end up sneaking up a win at home against the Seattle Seahawks.
Joey, one of the games of the day tomorrow, Mr. Tom Brady on the call, 4:25 Eastern. Baltimore travels to the Fighting Mike McCarthy's. Who do you like in that one?
Jesus, his third Dallas game. No wonder I've never been listening to Tom Brady. Baltimore needs a win badly. You fall to 0-3. I don't care who you are. Your chances are minuscule for a good playoff run. Give me Baltimore in what will be a fun game, Baltimore Ravens.
I like this a lot tomorrow, too. 3 o'clock kickoffs tomorrow. I'm a big fan of the 3 o'clock
That makes your
game.
panky.
Yeah, that does. Bricked up. 4:25 Eastern. Lions at Cardinals. I'm taking the Lions in a rebound game. Again, everybody's high and mighty in the Cardinals right now. I don't see them sustaining this. I see them as a 7-9 win team, but the world's riding a little bit too high in the Cardinals and a little bit too low on the Lions. Give me the Lions on the road. J-Lo, last afternoon game, 49ers at the very, 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 very injured Los Angeles Rams.
Let's just say both teams are injured. The Niners are going in without George Kittle, Deebo Samuel, Christian McCaffrey, but the Rams are really beat up. I say it'll be a really hard-fought game. You can never count out Matthew Stafford, no matter who's at receiver. But I like the Niners in a close one on the road. Even without the players, they still got Brandon Ayuk, who's going to get his touches for sure tomorrow, earn his money.
Joey, Chiefs, Falcons, night game, Sunday Night Football, 8:20 Eastern. What say you?
Yeah, Atlanta, I don't know how they did it in Atlanta. I do. The Eagles pretty much gave it to him. They could have ran the ball down and got the clock stopped, but chose not to do so. Moving on to this one, I think the Chiefs, Tones, we keep talking about Travis Kelce. When is he going to show up? When is he going to start doing things? Well, this might be the day today, so I think Chiefs will get a win. I think Atlanta will come out strong at home, but the Chiefs win the game.
Probably whenever he breaks up with Taylor Swift, he'll start doing a lot better because she is a Looney Tune. Jaguars, Buffalo, Monday Night Football. I'm going Buffalo at home there. I think Bills get the end of that. And hold on, as we got a Monday night doubleheader. That is awesome stuff right there.
Yes, sir.
J-Lo, take us home. Redskins at Bengals. The 1-1 Redskins at the winless Bengals, that is.
Shocker. The Commanders go into Cincinnati and beat them in their house Monday Night Football. Even if T. Higgins comes back, because he kind of crept a bet on me because I took him in fantasy football. But even with him being bad, Jamar Chase, he's a lost cause right now with the Bengals organization right now. I just think Joe Burrow, he's starting to show his true colors, and I just don't think he's elite anymore. That's just my opinion. I think the rookie is going to go in there and win and take the Commanders to 2-1.
Hey, they very well could. And now we're going to get to a fantasy football question each, our breadwinners, and get out of here. Joey, going to keep it simple. Cam Akers on the Texans tomorrow. Zach Charbonnet on Seattle tomorrow. What handcuff do you like more with Mixon and Kenneth Walker both trending downwards?
Well, Houston's against the Minnesota defense, which we saw last week, could always step up, especially in one of the loudest places to play. Charbonnet, I don't mind either. It's not the toughest match. Give me Cam Akers.
J-Lo?
Nope, I'm changing Charbonnet.
Yeah, I'd go Charbonnet as well against the Dolphins. He has better pass catching ability. Akers could pop off, but you really never know what you're going to get with a guy like Akers.
Correct.
Being out for a while. J-Lo, what backup QB would you rather have tomorrow? Skylar Thompson, Andy Dalton, or Malik Willis as your QB2 in fantasy?
I'd say Skylar Thompson. I think he's kind of a little underrated. I'm not saying he's a starting type quarterback, but I think he'll fill the bill really well, stepping in for Tua at quarterback at home. So give me Skylar Thompson.
Yeah, and then one guy I'll watch out for tomorrow. If he's still on your waiver wire, I'd give him a look. Deontay Foreman, Browns co-share running back. He had the most touches on the Browns last week in their win. I think he might pay dividends tomorrow. Let's cue up our betting music because that means breadwinners are coming in the world of the rock and roll music. Guys, we got to get back on track, fellas. We're down to under 500, and we're positive money. We're 6-7 on the year, but we're plus $9. So we're one down in the win column. But if you listen to our bets, we have still won you $9 on the year. So technically shooting positive with the negative record thanks to J-Lo's Georgia Tech win week 1. But guys, we're due. J-Lo, I think it's time to give up on the huge money line underdogs, but we'll see. Joe, do you know who you're going with for your breadwinner?
Yeah, I'm done with the MLB. Like I said, all it took me is one loss. Was off to a hot start, but got killed last week in that one. I'm going to go to the quarterback game where I feel like they've been playing for 20 years. We brought up Utah and Oklahoma State earlier. Oklahoma State's getting a point at home. I like them to edge out the Utes in what will be a close game, but I'm not taking Jesus Cameron Rising with his long hair. I'm going with the 3-team 7-year veteran. Oklahoma State is my breadwinner at home.
J-Lo breadwinner?
Yeah, as far as breadwinner goes, I'm gonna go with NC
Or do you want me to go?
Huh? No.
Do you want me to go, or do you have yours?
No, I have mine. I'm gonna go with NC State on the road, money line to beat the Clemson Tigers.
NC State, huh? You're continuing with the big money lines, huh?
I don't know. I don't know. I just got that gut feeling, man. When you get that gut feeling, like I did with Georgia Tech, that's what I feel today with NC State.
Hey, I like that a lot. I give you your gut feel, and I always say take your gut feel and ride with it. My breadwinner of today, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman, and I am a Heyman guy. No, I'm just kidding
Yes,
around.
sir, the advocate.
But my breadwinner of the day, let's see, I like a couple of them. Who am I going to go with exactly? Give me Tulane money line at Louisiana. The Green Wave has been nice this year. Their quarterback's been really impressive this year. My breadwinner of the day will be Tulane as they kick off here in just 4 minutes. So if you're not,
Troy loves that pick. Loves that pick.
I love Tulane today. Louisiana's had a couple fluke wins. Tulane has had really tough losses to the likes of Kansas State of the world. So we'll see where that goes. But our breadwinners, Joey, Oklahoma State, J-Lo, North Carolina State, money line over Clemson. And then I'm going with Tulane money line. Joey, final word as you're off to Indianapolis, brother.
Yep, just got here, just past the Indiana University, the college. Now we're coming up to, they call it Circle Center, kind of like what they got in Minneapolis. It's going to be a beautiful day. I'm here to enjoy some football. I told Troy, the Bears fan next to me, either Bears lose or you don't come back home. So either way, not good for him. So that's how it's going to be. Colts are going to get a victory. I'm going to rep either the signed jersey you got me, or I'm going to be repping Big Rover Stewart. Go Colts, and then BUCCANEERS. Go Bucs.
Yeah, be safe out there, Joey. Thanks for joining us. Have a great one, brother. Go Colts. This is our year. This is our team.
Yeah. Gotta even join when I'm in the car, boys. Great show. One of the best shows. Some of the greatest people I ever met. Thank you, and have a nice day.
Yeah, you too, Joey. That's a great Joey Nips bleeding blue there. J-Lo, final word for the program.
That's what it's all about, baby. Even though I'm not my Gators, but I'm still gonna root for the Bulls tonight, man. It's gonna be a wild night over at Ray J. I'm going to hear those stupid Miami fans fucking talk their bullshit, telling them don't go to USF either. So, go Bulls, go Gators. Hopefully, they'll have a win today. Get my weekend going right. And then, as far as the Bucs, man, I'm excited. Another 1:00 game. I'm glad I'm staying home on this one because I'm not ready for the hot weather yet. We don't get along. I'm bipolar. But I'm excited. Probably gonna go to the grocery store in a little bit. Get grilling tomorrow. I think I'm gonna go with ribs. It's gonna be a rib day tomorrow, fella.
Love ribs. Love the rib day tomorrow. My final word is this: go Bucs. Go Penn State. Both of you get to 3-0 on the season. Penn State 2-0. Bucs 2-0. Both have the chance to get to 3-0. Penn State home against Kent State. Bucs home against the Broncos. I call this take care of business week. These are games our guys should win. But you never know in the world of football, J-Lo. That's why we played these games. And football fans, hold on to your horses, because in less than 2 weeks, starting October 3rd, Thursday, we got college football or NFL football every night for about 45 days straight, Monday through Monday through Monday, J-Lo. So that's going to be a beautiful thing, whether it's Maction or whatever it might be, J-Lo. But always a blessing. We will be back on Tuesday. You never know if Gene or somebody pops in with a post-game show tomorrow. It's very likely. But if not, we will be back Tuesday around 6:15 p.m. Eastern time, hopefully talking about a Bucs win, brother.
Oh, yes. A Bucs win indeed. I'm not trying to get too overhyped, but I'm also relaxed at the same time. I'm not stressing on this game tomorrow. I feel like we're going to get some entertainment. I think some Bucs fans are going to be happy with how they play. And like I said, Sunday fun day, and I'm feeling kind of Sunday. Are you feeling kind of Sunday, Tones?
It's Saturday, but I'm feeling really Sunday. So I'm feeling Sunday, man. It's Sunday night. All right. Neil's in the house too. He always says, hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, and turn the notification bell on. It's been a hoot. J-Lo, Tampa Tones, Joey Nips here, and all the chatters out there. Olivia, Emily, Neil, Christopher Cole, Bud Cannibalist, the rest of the gang as well. I have a wedding today. Shout out to a buddy of mine, Nick Hamilton, tying the knot today, and it's an early one, so I already got to get scooting, cabooting in the shower and grooming and all that good stuff. So J-Lo, on behalf of you, on behalf of me, on behalf of the Buccaneers, and remember, A-Cats texted in his score at least, not like the Jagoffs, Bucko, Stunna, or whoever else. And Huncho was very participative in the chat as well. So on behalf of the Buccaneers, enjoy your Saturday, Sunday, and doubleheader Monday of college and NFL football. Go Bucs, go Bucs, fire the damn cannons, touchdown, Tampa Bay. J-Lo, let's win some money today, brother. Have a good one.
Let's fucking go.
Let's fucking go. Fire the damn cannons. Go Bucs. Tones Decker off. J-Lo, we are out of the building. Huncho says, miss y'all guys. Be safe. Huncho, bring us a W tomorrow like Will Golston does after he gets a nice little tackle for loss. Okay, brother? I don't know if that was right, but go Bucs. See you later, everybody. God bless. Stay safe and stay loving. Bye. Game on Sunday, man. I know you're nervous for the Rams, but you got to be a little enthusiastic after being there.
Bro, that game atmosphere was ridiculous. The energy, the electricity. That place was rocking. Anyone was there, and a lot of the Super Buck fans were there too. Beat Buck.
Tampa Tones. We are joined by Lead Goon tonight, host of the Pat and Aaron Show of WDAE, Pat Donovan. And it sounds like Stunna is bumbling a little bit. Going to put him on mute for a second until that gets a little clear. But we're joined by Pat
It looks like
Donovan.
Stunna's hanging out with Cheech and Chong in a car with the windows up or something over there.
It does look like we got a little.
No, my camera's